So guys, obviously the Young Turks have uploaded yet another video from this Hasan? I don't know. Hasan guy, and at the end of the day, it's kind of cancerous. But unlike him, I will actually admit two reasons why I'm doing this. One is because it's fun to make fun of him, and the second is because it's good for views. Unlike him, I'll actually admit that. So obviously before we jump into it, the video itself, look, at the end of the day, he doesn't actually debate anything that Ben Shapiro says. Keep that in mind while we go through, and let me know what your thoughts are at the end of the video.
2017 is ending, and you all wanted me to do a year in review. Well, those shits are hacky as hell.
So I don't know how you make your year in review, but for me it involves hours of research and basically going through, writing out a list, thinking of the list, researching all the topics, doing all the news articles, putting them all in the video. Like, you're calling this hacky as hell? I don't know if you mean hacky as in choppy video or hacky as in like easy to do, but shit, dude, I've been putting mine off because it takes hours. So how is that easy to do? I don't know. Maybe people do them differently, but no, to me they're not hacky. They're kind of complicated. In fact, you sitting in a chair doing one-liners and not actually changing or challenging a debate, now that's hacky as hell.
So I'm just going to do a year in review of my new favorite woke prince, Ben Shapiro's year in review. Now you might recognize Ben Shapiro from the 528,000 videos that come up when you search Ben Shapiro owns on YouTube.
And well, actually it was 526,000, not 528. But at the end of the day, I'll let you pass on that. You are a liberal, so you probably want free education, free colleges and stuff. Sounds like you might actually need to learn to read. But at the end of the day, apart from that, let's cut the shit. The reason why you're doing Ben Shapiro is because of the views. Unlike you, I'll admit it. I'm targeting you for the views. You target Ben Shapiro for the views. That's why people always punch up and they don't necessarily always punch down. So, well, unless it's fun. But at the end of the day, cut the shit, be honest, don't bullshit your honest, dude.
Because that's what he does. He owns liberals. He's a conservative darling, and the New York Times called him a gladiator, and you guys loved the first video that I did. Go check that out if you haven't seen it.
You literally just proved my point. You literally just turned around and said they loved the first one, so you're doing it again. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you mean they loved it? It got really good views. Oh, that's why. Oh, right. Okay, so like I said, you're targeting Ben Shapiro for the views.
Let's go! So Ben's a well-known conservative, and he's famous for turning college campuses, not being able to host them, into a constitutional debate on national television.
Ooh, edgy. Maybe next time he'll think of something original. But at the end of the day, what Ben Shapiro is actually going on about there is colleges charging extra for conservative speakers for, quote, security measures. And also for basically colleges just flat out refusing to allow people to come onto the campus because of, quote, security concerns. At the end of the day, can you imagine if this was on the other foot? Imagine, for example, all of these colleges were run by conservatives. And imagine if they turned around and protested and demanded free rights. Wait, hang on, they did that in the 60s, didn't they?
University of California campus at Berkeley, there was beginning a phase of this youth revolt that was to be heard around the world. It became, in its simplest form, a fight about freedom of speech. But as almost everyone knows, it was much more than that. The university sought to impose upon the students a series of regulations on political activity and the solicitation of funds that the students felt to be in violation of their constitutional rights.
And then suckering public universities into dropping close to $500,000 in security fees every time he decides to create one of these ownage videos.
The simple question is this: does Ben Shapiro have a right to go to Berkeley and speak like they did 1964 to 1965? Yes, right. So why does it cost $500,000 for security fees? Because Antifa wants to show up and beat people with bike locks. You're literally blaming Ben Shapiro, whose supporters are the victims of Antifa. You're literally blaming the victims of the Antifa attacks that the police are trying to stop for the university charging $500,000 in security fees. You are victim blaming. I thought this is something the left wasn't supposed to do.
Where he dunks on liberal college freshmen.
Biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So
It's still from society.
okay, no, it is not in the mind. Okay, you're not a man if you think you're a man.
Fuck! Fuck, it was so good! Fuck, give us more! Give me more of that ownage!
Well, like I said, he doesn't actually challenge many of his views, if any of the views at all. He basically just does that whole trigger and then does a one-liner, but you'll see what I mean. But as for the dumb liberals being dumped on, so to speak, don't get up and ask questions. If you think it's unfair or whatever you're thinking about these liberals being dunked on by Ben Shapiro, here's an idea. Don't get up and ask a question. Or better off, don't even go to the show. Like, what? You're complaining because, oh my god, he responded to a stupid question. Wow. Isn't that the idea of a debate? Isn't that what debate's supposed to be? Oh wait, I forgot. You're a leftist. You don't know what that word means.
Why aren't you 60?
That's a dumb question, Ben. She's not 60, Ben. Why aren't you 60? Did you guys get that? He said, why aren't you 60? Because she's not 60.
Actually, you interrupted halfway through the video clip, taking out of context, which is why you don't understand what he's talking about. Well, you do. You're just trying to use this stupid one-liner. But at the end of the day, what he's basically saying here, people, is the fact that you can't be 60, well, because you just can't say you are. It's like being male or female. You can't be female or male just because you say you're female or male. For example, if you're male, you have a prostate. Just because I say I'm female doesn't mean I'm going to lose my prostate. Like that. And just because, for example, a female turns around and says that she's male doesn't mean she automatically grows a prostate. Kind of bugs that whole theory, doesn't it?
Why can't you identify as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender.
Oh! Okay, so in all seriousness, it really shows us how dumb society is when a person whose best retort is no, and then also some other oversimplified analogy that has nothing to do with addressing the question itself, and this is the best conservatives have to offer.
So if that's what you took away from his statement and his question, you're simple. You need a CAT scan. So basically, and I can't believe I have to explain this to you, what he's basically saying is that you can't just say that you're male or female and be male or female. For example, you can't just turn around and say, I'm 60 and then be 60. That there are actual physical conditions or physical constraints that actually make you that certain age or that certain gender or that certain sex. There is more to it than just wishing Peter Pan style that you can do it.
Yeah, biological differences exist. We all know this. Look at other societies. We all know that gender is a social construct. For example, to American society, I'm a Muslim heterosexual cisgender male. But on Instagram, I'm simply a thick daddy, or a thought. But yeah, for a guy who hates sex, you sure like to talk a lot about it, Ben.
Okay, first up, there's a lot to unpack in that last rant. So let's start the first part. Who says Ben Shapiro doesn't like sex? Are you a voyeur? Have you been crawling around in his garden or something, peeking through his windows? How do you know Ben Shapiro doesn't like sex? What, because he's conservative, he doesn't like sex? Is that what you're saying? I don't get that. So the second part to unpack. You say because other cultures have gone through and recognized more than two genders, we should do it. Okay, what about another culture that embraces cannibalism? Does that mean that we should do that as well? Also, for example, over in Africa, they actually believe that HIV can be cured by having sex with a virgin, unprotected. Does that mean that we're supposed to do that as well? Or what if, for example, another culture believes that it is okay to have sex with an animal? Does that mean that we're supposed to do that as well? Hey, it's your logic, alright? I'm just simply using your logic. I'm not embracing bestiality. But apparently you are.
Which leads us to what happens as a result of sex. Abortion.
The morality of abortion does not change based on need. The fact that she's poor and needs an abortion doesn't change whether she was rich or needs an abortion or poor.
This is one of my favorite conservative tropes where people falsely equate a female having autonomy over her own body to murder.
Sorry, what? Huh? What? Strawman? Where? Sorry, couldn't help myself. But no, I'm sorry, you're full of shit. You were saying her having autonomy over her own body is equivalent to murder. Well, that's what you're saying, he says anyway. So, okay, let's have a look. Autonomy over her own body. That could be any one thing of thousands of different things. For her to have autonomy over her own body, she can style her hair, she can cut her fingernails, she can get a belly button piercing, she can do whatever she wants. However, abortion isn't just autonomy over her own body, it is also involving another life. That is where you draw a line. So, for example, it'd be similar to euthanasia. Now, obviously, the baby is obviously inside her. Euthanasia is someone outside who's a grown adult, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, just like euthanasia, there is another life involved. It's not just autonomy over her own body. Sorry, but you're lying, and you're misleading, and you're doing a strawman argument.
But these staunch anti-abortion weirdos quickly lose interest in the sanctity of human life once the babies are actually born. And the baby's a fucking welfare queen, or a thug, or even worse than all of that, a liberal.
So, let me get this straight. You're saying that Ben Shapiro is okay with killing people once they've left the body. Once they've born, right? So, does Ben Shapiro believe in the death penalty? Oh, he doesn't. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Maybe it has to do with the fact that it's taking a life. And maybe it has more to do with the fact that he's been consistent when he says that taking a life is bad. And what, a thug is equivalent to murder now? Jeez, racist much.
The abortion argument really comes down to, do you think this is a life or not? If you don't think it's a life, you can do whatever you want with it. If you think it's a life, you can't do anything with it.
Yes, Ben, this is true. And first trimester babies are not life. Can they live outside the body if the mother dies? No, not life. Can they harass me on social media saying shit like, oh, Ben's gonna own your ass? No, not life. Facts don't care about your feelings, bitch.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in that. So the first thing, that graph that you showed, that is your view, or your left-wing view of a baby and life and stuff like that. Obviously, that's not the conservatives' point of view. So, second thing to unpack there. You're saying because a baby cannot live outside its mother, therefore it's not alive. Okay. What about the first 6 months of a baby's life? Can it live on its own outside its mother? Or does it need its mother? Oh, okay, it can't live on its own either. Okay. Or what about an animal? For example, say a deer or whatever it may be. There's always a grace period where they need their mother for that. Are they alive once they've been born? You see your argument is sort of failing here, right? And I know you were joking, but just to really put the nail in the coffin, your stupid Twitter analogy, my cat can't bother you on Twitter. Does that mean it's not alive?
This really dumb video where the narrator is almost as good as the owns that Ben is delivering.
The student then asks if Ben Shapiro, yes, Ben Shapiro, would donate to Planned Parenthood.
No, she didn't ask if Ben Shapiro, of all people, would donate.
Yeah, it was someone trying to be a smartass. It's probably the same person that actually did donate in his name. So, what's your point? If a conservative was to come up and ask you, would you donate to something that you're opposed to, would you still sit there and have a stupid ass grin on your face?
No, because they kill babies. They kill 300,000 unborn children a year. No, I don't donate to a baby genocidal organization.
Nice to know Ben cares about unborn babies more than Palestinians or immigrants. Oh, step on him! Gang, gang! Oh, okay, calm down.
Can you please show me where Ben Shapiro has advocated for killing Palestinians or migrants? Because if you can't, your argument's void. Now, at the end of the day, I'm guessing you're talking about the fact that he wants to build the wall and stop illegal aliens or immigration. Guess what? The illegal part of the actual sentence gives it away. Illegal aliens. Guess what? They're illegal. Fuck, I can't believe you people have such a hard problem with this. And at the end of the day, he's not even advocating for killing them. He just wants to send them back from where they came from so that they can go through and migrate legally.
So far, we got through all of this ownage with only a minor aneurysm, but I don't know what might come next.
Oh, if only we could say the same about your video. I'm going to need chemo at the end of this one.
Because this is about to be the #1 Ben Shapiro own of this year.
Why exactly do you think a first trimester fetus has moral value?
Because whether you consider it a potential human life or a full-on human life, it has more value than just a cluster of cells. If left to its natural processes, it will grow into a baby.
Is he wrong, though? Is he wrong about that? Because that statement seems factually true to me.
Okay, so Ben's playing a game of one simple truth to draw you in, followed by the Ben hole.
Are you really sure you want to go with Ben Hole?
Yes, I'm sure that we're going with Ben hole. It's good, people like it, it's Ben's hole. Or, as this narrator calls it,
Ben then goes full Shapiro.
never go full Shapiro.
Apparently, full Shapiro costs $500,000.
Now, how many times do we have to tell you guys on the left, stop throwing around George Soros's money like that? God, you're going to get Daddy upset. So now before anybody gets their knickers in a knot and turns around and says, George Soros doesn't fund the Young Turks. Maybe, maybe not. Because at the end of the day, George Soros's, the Open Society Foundation, has granted over $200,000 going to the media consortium. That media consortium has the Young Turks under its umbrella. So, yes, George Soros had actually given $200,000 to a media consortium which actually owns the Young Turks. Now, at the end of the day, we can't say if that $200,000 went to the Young Turks or if it went to another project, but it went to the parent company. So, technically.
I think we both agree that adult human life has intrinsic value. Can we start from that premise?
Okay, Ben's doing it. He's doing it. We're in the hole.
If you are in a coma from which you may awake, can I stab you?
Well then, no. I guess not.
I'm glad you answered that because I have no interest in actually murdering you.
Yes, you're not a Muslim nor a thug. Just a liberal I'm about to murder with logic and reasoning.
At the end of the day, did Ben Shapiro not just use logic and reasoning? I thought he made a good point.
I agree, it is potential sentience. You know what else is potential sentience? Being a fetus.
Here, I'm going to do the Ben argument to wrap this up. Do you think Adolf Hitler's fetus has the same intrinsic moral value to you and society as a whole as your father's comatose body?
No, it is not.
Well, thank you for making my point. Facts don't care about your feelings. I'm Ben Shapiro.
I'm still waiting for you to actually debate what he said. You still haven't done it. So yeah, basically guys, that's the video. And like I said in the intro, he doesn't actually go through and really debate anything Ben Shapiro says. He does his whole trigger movement and then just sat there and did stupid one-liners to the camera. Like, he hasn't actually challenged any of the views. Like, this is how the Liberals debate, people. This is why they're losing. But regardless. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you think I've done this accurately? And do you think I've actually gone through and debated this clock? Or do you think he's actually has some points? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.